What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka Let Me Suck Your Toes at Night. aka Put a Monkey on My Back, Call Me Dora. So stupid. Put a monkey on my back, go me. That's so dumb. Oh my god. AKA the undisputed, undefeated, uncontested social distancing champion. AKA the Kumaki Tiger Dropper. AKA the Nigga Lip Master. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sights. Episode 142. Man. Whew. Today's date is February 24th, 2022. For those that don't know, Switches Sights podcast is a solo video game podcast where I talk about just that. Happy Elden Ring Day for all those who celebrate a glorious, wonderful, magnificent day. I know I think it released early on Steam earlier today, but I did not get a chance to mess with it. So best believe I'm about to dabble in I don't even know what it's called. I'm about to dabble in them rings that are Elden. If you catch my drift, if you pick up what I'm putting down. Also, of course, in terms of the world right now, it just gets crazier and crazier, doesn't it? So for those that don't know, apparently Russia is initiated attack on Ukraine in terms of, well, Putin just on that bullshit trying to take over what's not his. So shouts out to everybody in Ukraine. Hopefully best wishes, prayers, thoughts, condolences out to everybody in Ukraine, because that's messed up. Doing all these types of attacks, it ain't right. It ain't right. We might also just jump in as well. So that's gonna be potentially looking at World War III. That is it's kind of crazy. So that's something that's happening in the world. Man, how about that? Just when you thought 2022 couldn't get any crazier, it just seems to want to top itself. So let's see what happens. Not looking forward to it, but what can we do? Anyway, on a better note, Elden Ring. It is a special monumentous day. Hearing all the wonderful reviews and I just want to be engulfed. Just engulf me in that world. Attempting. The idea was to get a PC built before Elden Ring, but of course, one measly part from a third party seller that wants to be kind of sketchy, didn't fall through. So, I have to play Elden Ring on a older PC that won't push the graphical capabilities as much. First world problems. But hey, it's still a wonderful monumentous day. The ring that is Elden, I hope y'all ready to die. I know I spewed this on Twitter, but I'm surprised nobody's done this. Maybe this might be dancing on the what do you call it? the illegal lines, but why has nobody played Dark Souls and actually have a dominatrix nearby? And when you die, you get hit. It just adds to the effect. I'm surprised nobody has done that yet. May have to make some calls after this. Try to set something up. Be the first to get this done. The proper way. I don't know about whips though. That just I don't know. It gets a little bit in racist territory. I don't know. Me being black getting whipped. I don't on the back too. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Otherwise, that is hell of a man. Speaking of whips, pretty good show for you today. Got some interesting topics to talk about. Some games I've been messing with. Some very interesting TV I've been watching as well. So I can't wait to share with you, the audience, what I've been up to, So, without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. Street Fighter 6. Well, that is of the many announcements that popped off. So for those that don't know, I think last episode talked about the Capcom countdown or whatever. So, excuse me. Capcom countdown, that was basically countdown to Sunday night around 9 or 10. Of course, we were all speculating, which I know we did last episode. Come to find out, it was a couple games. The first one they revealed, and this was, of course, during Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V, so kind of narrows things down in terms of guesses, at least at that point in time. So the first game they announced was Capcom Fighting Collection. Let me do it. Capcom Fighting Collection. Oh, I like that. Which is basically a bundle of fighting games. Literally all of Darkstalkers, aka Vampire Savior. Literally the whole series within this collection. Let me see. So Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Hunter 2, Darkstalkers Revenge. Or I think they're using maybe both names in here. I'm a little uncertain on terms of the Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Vampire Savior name conjunctions. Then Vampire Savior and Vampire Savior 2. Then on top of that, Street Fighter the Anniversary Edition. I'm curious if this is the Nintendo Switch Street Fighter 2 version that has I think it had violent Ken in it. I mean, hey, it better have this better have violent Ken. I think it's Hyper Street Fighter 2 the Anniversary Edition, which I think is that exclusive Switch port of the game. I'm pretty sure. So hey, can't wait to get violent with Ken. Can't wait. Red Earth. I haven't heard too much. I know there's a few characters from this game that made it to Marvel vs. Capcom, but I forgot which. But I heard this has a pretty good single player for what it's worth. Super Gem Fighter. Cyberbots Full Metal Madness. I gotta do it. Cyberbots Full Metal Madness. Damn, that was kind of good. I like that. Super Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. What was throwing me off was the naming convention. So you had Puzzle Fighter 2 in the front, then you got Super and then Turbo at the bottom. So you I needed a couple seconds to decipher. So this is coming out on the Switch, Xbox One, PS4. Obviously, the respective upgraded versions of these versions as well, in terms of Series X and X, as well as PS5. Some cool additions, training mode, for some games that, like, so a lot of these games presumably didn't have training mode, since they're, I think, just straight up arcade games that I don't think were necessarily released on console. Could be wrong about that, but I know one of the biggest things was confirmed to have rollback netcode, which is always a good start. So keep this rollback train going, you know. Chi. Ranked casual and custom online matches across all 10 games in the collection. That is pretty dope. So none of these games necessarily like speak to me like loudly, but just to support your fighting games, I always will. Definitely plan on picking this up regardless. Just support your fighting games, man. Just support them. Just gotta just support them. So for people that wanted these games but didn't buy the collection, you have yet another chance. So that's definitely what I aim to do as well. So that was one of the announcements, and then pretty much right after that, they showed a trailer for Street Fighter 6. Finally. So yeah, basically started off with presumably Luke from Street Fighter 4 or 5. He looks totally different from his counterpart or himself, really, from 5, where he has blonde hair. Now in this trailer he's like brunette ish, but has some of the other similar conventions in terms of the Popeye arms and the douchey YouTuber look, I guess. But yeah, he's being just brash and, I don't know, not flamboyant, but like, what's the word? Damn it. Just like obnoxious. I'd say that. I think that's safe to say. Obnoxious. Ryu just like, let me meditate and focus. And he just in his ear, hey man, you ready to rumble? I'm totally paraphrasing. I forgot what he said verbatim. But you know what? Let me watch it real quick. I ain't never going down. Something like that. Oh God. Well, that is another observation. All right, you ready? I ain't never going down. I don't want to get copyright. All right, you ready? And then he pumping up his arms, and then it's showing all his veins popping out. That's kind of concerning. I feel like he's like might be an animal or something. I don't know. But Street Fighter dude does have those abnormal people like Dhalsim. I guess you can even potentially say Zangief as well. That they're a little unusual for, more outside of a normal traditional fighting game character in terms of realism, I guess, for what that's worth in a video game. But so got what's his name? Hey, what you doing, Ryu? Hey, you ready to fight? Ryu like, let me meditate. It looks like Ryu did get upgraded to Hot Ryu, which was the DLC costume for Street Fighter 5, where he's bearded, and just based off that alone, you all girls want to have sex with you. This is proven science. So that is why he's Hot Ryu. Put a beard on him. He is Hot Ryu. So there's that. It definitely looks like this is for sure the at least it hasn't been confirmed, but it's pretty obvious that this is definitely the RE engine, which is Capcom's like in-house engine that's been pretty much being utilized for a lot of Capcom's games. Monster Hunter, the recent Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry 5, I believe. Of course, obviously Resident Evil 7 and up. So, oh yeah, man, they sure as hell wanted to see Ryu's feet. Man, we need to look up this Ryu's toes on WikiFeet, because man, all the foot fetishes. I don't know. I guess women can have feet fetish, but man, they just a good like 2 seconds of the trailer was Ryu's toes in HD, all glistening, just sweat and just toes. So hey, if you got a thing for Ryu's toes, you watch this trailer, man. You probably had a good time. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it. Oh, well, actually, now I'm curious. I was just joking, but I'm a fully commit. Reuse. Oh, this is not it. Nope, this is not it at all. All right. Yep, this is going down a weird territory, so I'm gonna stop. Never mind. Let's not go down that path. It's not safe. So, yeah. Don't look up Ryu's feet, because you're not gonna actually find Ryu's feet. So, well, I guess maybe if you don't put the wiki feet thing in front of it, maybe. But that's neither here nor there. Ryu's toes is out. Got the beard, got the toes out. He's definitely looks way more wider now than like his previous counterparts. But I mean, I don't hate it. The artistic style looks somewhat like if you mix Tekken with Street Fighter, I guess. I don't know. It looks definitely way more realistic than it's ever been in the series so far, but I'm digging it. It has potential. I would prefer maybe the cartoony style like the previous games, but I mean, it could still work though. So, but yeah, that's all we got. 30-second trailer, and no, they said, find out more at, E3 Summers Games Fest or whatever. So presumably that's when we're gonna actually see gameplay, but at least it does look like this was an engine, probably, on purpose to, I would assume they're trying to gauge fan interest overall and see how people are feeling about it. So, and that, man, we got some back was fed, you know what I mean? Some feed was back. One of the probably most notable things from the trailer was specifically the logo, the Street Fighter 6 logo, which looks, I'm personally, at least initially, wasn't necessarily a fan of. It felt too esportsy for me, as it wasn't universal. It didn't feel as iconic as like all the previous Street Fighter logos before. It just looked very bland and stale, and kind of makes sense now because like after some time passed, a lot of people actually dug up the specific logo that's used in that Street Fighter 6 trailer, and it actually is like from Adobe's stock site. So like it's literally an Adobe stock file. They I think all they really did was like for the F, the lower, what would you call the lower strike of the F, they like knocked down an angle and then just put a 6 in front of it, and then Street Fighter 6. There you go. But yeah, not the best logo. I hope they change it. I think at this point they have to change it. And then the 6, it looks like somebody made a joke on Twitter where basically the Street Fighter logo, and then number 6, it looked like Street Fighter has 6 unread emails, which I, as somebody who understands that, I can totally identify that spoke to me so much. But yeah, not the best looking logo, but I think they'll change it. They definitely have to at this point. They're just gonna get all the scrutiny they got. This is a Adobe stock image. I think the creator of the logo from the Adobe site was like, I'm willing to work a deal with them to get this, make it theirs or something like that. So that's a little half-assed, but it is what it is. All in all, I mean, I personally, I don't know. This was would have liked a little bit more to feast on. Like, if they were to announce this, I think I would have preferred it personally for them to wait until Summer Games Fest to do it rather than now and then just tease it. So have an announcement for an announcement. And that's the other thing too. Like, this whole thing, that whole countdown was for 30 seconds of a Street Fighter 6 trailer, which in retrospect, that was kind of poorly done. I think having that countdown deserved way more than that. So then that was a whole thing where it actually got counted down, but then it was still an hour left, but then it was supposed to be done at a certain time, but then they ended up waiting for the Capcom Cup to finish because they were just finishing up the finals at the time. And then it was like, all right, so, and then it was just this feeling of animosity towards the Capcom Cup because clearly everybody's like, this got to be Street Fighter 6. And then we're waiting for them to finish. So you got people that just want to see the trailer, don't even care about the Capcom Cup, waiting on hands and knees. Very poorly done. They could have done this better. Yeah, please, if you ever do a countdown, just make it worth it. Don't do this. Don't have a countdown for only 30 seconds. A countdown of a teaser, a countdown of an announcement, essentially. That's pretty much what it was. So I'd say it definitely was disappointing just based on how much they hyped it up for not that much of a payoff until like summer now, which is not great. So we'll see. The art style though looks pretty dope. They showed like what seems to be an ultimate or like a super critical art, whatever this Street Fighter's version is. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to look at Ryu's toes in HD 60 FPS high definition. I can't wait. Cannot wait. It's gonna be so fun. Oh man, they really went in on the toes. They really went on Ryu's toes. He's not barefoot anymore. He's got the sandals on. So I don't know. I prefer to with bare feet. He feels more rugged and just rough, kind of like that, But that's just me. And that was that. So we'll see. I guess come Summer Games Fest. Moving on. PSVR2. We actually finally got a view of the actual headset. I think all we've seen so far up till now was just like diagrams and concept art. But at least now we've actually see what the PSVR2 actually looks like. And it looks very, of course, big surprise, very reminiscent of the first version of the PSVR, which looks actually, yeah, it looks pretty much the same. I can only assume it's going to be just as lightweight and comfortable as the first VR, PSVR. Showed the controllers. They look like PSVR2 controllers. I was always concerned about if they're like, they seem too big, but I don't think so. I think in motion they'll be fine. Kind of concerned about this cord that goes. It seems to go behind your back. Not a fan of the cords, but maybe it's just for charging specifically. I guess they would have to. Yeah, I think you would have to with this headset. That's another thing too. It does not rely on the camera like the first version, so you don't need a PS camera to utilize this PSVR 2. So it will be similar to the Oculus Quest, where it has its own cameras and uses that to track instead of resorting to the PS camera to use it for motion tracking and movement and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm digging it. I don't know if I would get it at launch though. It would have to be a killer app, kind of like Resident Evil 4. Like, I might have talked about this before, but if this comes out with Resident Evil 8 Village support, then I would probably get it. And maybe backwards compatibility. That's another one too. If it has backwards compatibility with PSVR 1 games, as well as exclusivity for PSVR for Resident Evil Village, then I would definitely get it at launch. But we'll see. Probably I would guess this summer they probably might do a push for it more in terms of announcing games, and I think it's inevitable that we're gonna get Village, a VR mode. It literally sets itself up for it so much. So that would be my prediction. I think I predicted it already, but I'm still predicting it. The prediction still stands. Yeah, not a fan of that cable though. But I mean, with the Quest you can use it wirelessly if you want, even with your PC as well. So hopefully they have an answer to that or some way around it. But I'm really digging it. It feels like there's no way to not look like an idiot with PSVR, but still, hey, be looking like an idiot comfortably. So, moving on. Call of Duty. That duty that be calling you. So, I know with that whole acquisition, that's still in progress with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, which of course includes Call of Duty. It was suspected that maybe Call of Duty would actually take a year off from their yearly annual releases, which actually seems to be pretty much all but confirmed at this point, according to Jason Schreier from Bloomberg.com, who did, from sources, reveal that for the first time in 2 decades, Call of Duty will skip a year. Activision has delayed 2023's game made by Treyarch to 2024. Sources tell Bloomberg it's a shocking move that will have a massive impact on the franchise and industry, which I totally agree. It definitely will. It's gonna be very interesting to see, but also good, because I think if there's any series that needs a break, it's definitely Call of Duty. Just slow down. Just slow down. Assassin's Creed finally did it, so now it's good to see Call of Duty actually join the fray. And I think personally, as a big fan of Modern Warfare, and this year's game which is going to be Modern Warfare 2, a perfect game to have a 2-year cycle for, I would say, because man, if it's anything like 2019, I'm gonna be engulfed. I believe they mentioned that the plan is, this might be related to Call of Duty more closely in terms of Modern Warfare, that they're gonna do a lot of content for Modern Warfare 2. So that what I think they said is that if like come when the game, a new Call of Duty would generally release, they would actually do a massive drop of content for Modern Warfare 2, like load of maps, load of weapons, and that personally, I think that would be good enough. That'd be good enough for me personally. Just have a massive load of maps and games all at once, and like kind of in the same way, maybe have like a little bit more single player content that maybe continues off of wherever Modern Warfare 2's like vanilla campaign ends. I think would be pretty dope. Be pretty dope. So I believe that's the plan. And then on top of that, giving Treyarch another year to fully polish their game, which is, yes, please, thank you. We can last a year without Call of Duty, even though technically we wouldn't, because we're technically probably getting a content drop or something like that, and then maybe they'll try some way to get some money out of you still that year. I would guess maybe if they're good, just cosmetically, and not like charging you for maps or something, or heck, even just charge a little bit for the campaign or something like that. Because it's definitely not a good idea to segment the player base with people who bought the game and people who didn't buy the this content drop or whatever. So we'll see. But at least what I've been hearing about Modern Warfare 2, it's supposedly polished and in alpha right now, which I think is crazy for a game coming out later this year, at least for any Call of Duty. So it's they are banking on this game to like be good as hell, which I am also banking. Hopefully it's the next coming of since Modern Warfare 2009, but only time will tell. So good stuff. Finally, I wonder what led to the decision. If it was more Microsoft, like recently kind of influencing, or maybe they're just generally just doing it to try something maybe with Modern Warfare 2. Oh, I think that's the other thing too. They did mention that I think maybe around the time we would get another Call of Duty in 2023, that they would actually release Warzone 2 around that time as well. So they got a lot of flexibility to do that. Hell, maybe even do like both, like release Warzone 2 as well as some full multiplayer pack, kind of like the old days. Man, that's gonna take me back. I can't wait. Cannot wait. I hope Modern Warfare 2 is good. I really do. I know they'll do it. I know they'll do it again. I know they will. I feel it. Moving on. Resident Evil Outbreak coming back? Maybe. So earlier this week, Resident Evil history page, which is basically this new page that like has all this concept and concept art for all the Resident Evil games in terms of history. It seems to have been like periodically adding games from their backlog to this site. And of course, what do you know? They recently this week added Resident Evil Code Veronica, um, Resident Evil Outbreak and Resident Evil Outbreak Fall 2 in terms of the various art for, enemies and all that stuff. So, I mean, clearly you would, you, Resident Evil, their site, whatever, they could have easily just omitted these games. Well, not necessarily Code Veronica. I feel like that's more essential, but they could have easily omitted Outbreak and Fall 2, but they did it. And I think a lot of people were speculating that might be intentional, that we actually might get either a re-release or maybe a remaster of, well, I guess those are essentially the same thing. Re-release and or remaster. Remake. That's what I meant. Re-release or remake of Outbreak and Outbreak File 2. Man. Is hell freezing over right now? It's hard to believe, but at least to add a little bit more credence to it, in terms of the leaks, that huge GeForce Nvidia leak that leaked a lot of games that at least some are at least not were canceled, or but a lot of those were seemingly valid in some cases, as I think some of those games were at least announced. But of those games, Outbreak was included there, so could be, might get a legit Resident Evil Outbreak that people can actually play. So I know I've talked on this podcast a lot about a game near and dear to my heart, series near and dear to my heart, that is Outbreak. So I won't try to repeat myself, but I'll say it again. Outbreak was very much ahead of its time. It came out at a time where broadband just started to catch on in 2003, 2004. Not many households had it. And because of that, not too many people caught on. I know the sales were good for the first Outbreak, but then, of course, fell off with the second version. So here's the hoping now, with a fully online world, 18 years later, that people actually get a chance to legitimately appreciate Outbreak. I'm not sure how I feel about the voice chat. If they do add that, I honestly kind of like that about Outbreak, where you just are, to create some more tension and fear in a multiplayer environment. Not having voice chat, I think, was pretty cool. But I mean, obviously there's ways around it nowadays, Discord and whatnot. So wouldn't be heartbroken if they did have it, but you could be a purist anyway and still kind of go that way if you maybe preferred. So let's bring back Outbreak. It's time. Bring back Outbreak. Have the released File 3 scenarios. I will jump in this room. I will yell and wake everybody up. Man, don't play with me. I will lose my shit if we actually get Outbreak finally remastered, remade, whatever. And not any of this iffy reverse and resistance crap. No. Give me that pure, unadulterated Outbreak. Just want Yoko just doing her shimmy backwards. Want Jim just saying what the fuck, and just fainting, saying goodnight. I want it all. Want Mark just saying Mark stuff. Get over there, soldier. I might have to do my part. Bring some more awareness to Outbreak. I know it's been a minute for all the fans that used to watch me stream Outbreak. At least I'm glad and happy I got all the archived videos I ever did playing the game on YouTube at youtube.com/aswitch. you're ever curious about Outbreak, there is a unofficial fan server that basically brought the game back, where you have to do a lot of trickery to get it to work. But when you do, so good. So it took me back. It really did. So, we gonna have to push that Outbreak agenda yet again. We got to. We gotta bring it back. People don't know what they had. They did not know what they had in 2004. It still hurts thinking about it. It really does. Really does. With that being said, that concludes all the news for this week. Next, we'll talk about what I've been playing, which has been a multitude of stuff. But firstly, actually played the Switch Sports Network test, which is basically during the recent Direct, there was a announcement of Switch Sports, which is basically Wii Sports on the Switch, and there was going to be a network test. So essentially, to stress test Nintendo servers. That sounds so weird for me to say, Nintendo servers, but I mean it's a thing. Stress test Nintendo servers. Whenever this game comes out, and give them somewhat of a realistic look at it. Which, the times were very weird. It's like 45-minute intervals or whatever. I just only played one of them, I think, like earlier in the morning, the first one, I think. And overall, it's pretty decent. I was somewhat surprised. I guess as somebody who hasn't really messed with the Switch's motion controls that much, this seemed to be pretty solid for the most part. It wasn't anything necessarily that was like, oh, this is just horrible as hell. If anything, it was just my own doing if it was, but everything generally felt pretty accurate. I'm very fascinated to see how it works. I think they kind of explained it in one of the earlier Switch videos before it released, but it actually was legit. I played I don't think they let you play a specific sport. You just had to go random, and whichever one you get. But I think I played pretty much all they had to offer. I played I forgot what the stick game is. Not Highlight, but it was called something where it's essentially just sword fighting, which seemed pretty dope. I had a tough time getting the hang of the multitude of the weapons, because there is a standard sword, I think a charged sword, and like dual blades, but I did not, the game didn't necessarily explain too much about the nuances of each, or what is unique about each one of them, outside of just playing it. So I did win a couple, got my ass knocked off as well, where it's basically like kind of a I don't know, King of the Hill type thing, where you battle for space, and if you can block, parry, which gives you more ground and things like that. But if the person knocks you off the surface, you fall into like a vat of water, and then you get eaten up by a shark and die. No, that doesn't happen. That'd be kind of cool though. But yeah, that was pretty cool. They had, of course, classic Wii bowling. So bowling seemed to be pretty okay. I had a couple scenarios where like I bowled and did the proper motion, but the ball didn't go off, or it didn't actually. I let go, but it didn't let go. So that maybe just might be either me or the game. I don't know which. They had tennis, where I think you could potentially play with up to 4 people, but at least in my case, there was only 1v1, and you controlled the person at the front and the back, which that one seemed pretty decent. I tried to do some power hits. I don't know the technique how to do it, but I swung my hardest, and it didn't do a power hit. So that's, I guess, somewhat of a hidden mechanic maybe in the game. What else? There was some other game that I don't recall. Was that it? Maybe it was. Yeah, that's at least all I remember. But seemed promising. I might. I'm more than likely to probably pick it up. Just more for nostalgia than anything. But yeah, it's pretty legit. Especially playing online. I didn't notice anything necessarily. Wonder if it got Nintendo Switch Sports got that rollback net code or whatever. But yeah, pretty good time. Looking forward to its full release. So also played Crossfire X. Man, I was actually pretty much looking forward to this game, but after playing it for a bit, I am not now. It is man, very poorly made. It just needs it shouldn't have been released, essentially. It really shouldn't have. They should have kept it in the oven longer. I don't know what rush they had. They shouldn't have rushed. They should have just took their time, because it definitely shows in this game. The aiming felt wonky as hell. It didn't feel good or tight or anything. The sound design was a little off. It felt like everybody was stomping in diapers or something. I kid you not. It sounded like people were everybody's footsteps were if they put diapers on the bottom of their shoes or something. It was weird and off-putting. And that was just the multiplayer. I tried messing with the single player, but it was acting weird when I tried to download it. So after at least playing the multiplayer, I kind of gave up, because I was it's I don't think it gets any better from here. And at least looking at the reviews and stuff, seems like that's the case. So I was yeah, this is not worth my time for now. Maybe when they significantly update the game and make the improvements or whatever, it might be worth coming back to. But at least for now, it is not. It is not. I would steer clear from Crossfire X until you are ready to get in that Crossfire, which should not be now. There are way better games. It feels like it's trying to, well, I know this is a port of a PC game that I guess obviously is kind of trying to be like Counter-Strike. You definitely get those vibes from it. But I'm assuming made its own way, own set of fans. But yeah, this is not great. Not a great port. So steer clear, Crossfire X. Stand down. What is it? Roger recovery or something. I don't know. Also playing some King of Fighters 15. King of Fighters 15. What do I even say about this game? Well, I guess first off, backstory. I've not really gravitated towards King of Fighters games, or really most of the SNK fighter games. I've not really been too exposed to. I plan at some point, maybe playing the anthology collections or whatever, just to kind of somewhat get somewhat of the experience of what these games were like back in the day. But I dabbled with 14 a little bit, not enough to be competent or know anything, but yeah, at least that's kind of some of the backstory before coming into King of Fighters 15. So King of Fighters 15, at least so far, I've really only just been in the training room, because training room and learning YouTube videos in terms of how the game works, because the game feels intimidating and overwhelming, at least initially, because I guess it's somewhat close to Street Fighter, but it definitely has a lot of different mechanics and aspects to it that definitely separate it from Street Fighter. It may be because I've been out of the game a bit in terms of fighting games in general, but I'm having a hard time grasping the timing for combos and stuff like that. But I did hear I was listening to Maximilian's review on it, that it seems like the latency is much bigger on the PS5 than the PC. So I think I may at some point try the PC version, see if I fare better in terms of like response times and stuff, to see if that does it. Because yeah, it feels like when I'm doing inputs and commands and stuff, it feels like I'm doing the inputs and motions, but it's not being responsive, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel, if it it feels like I should have a higher reaction time than I do, which I don't think that is the case. Maybe the SNK will drop a patch that might fix up some of that stuff, maybe. But at least, yeah, from my experience so far, I guess it could potentially be a what do you call it? What's the effect that placebo effect, maybe. But I do, at least it feels like it so far, that like I'm putting the inputs in like I would any other fighting game, but they just don't seem to be getting off, or just the time is very weird and irregular compared to other games I'm used to. So really been fight with that. But yeah, essentially just been dabbling in trials and training tutorials just to wrap my head around a game. I don't feel like I'm competent enough to even like try and stand a chance in online, but that would be the next step. I wanted to get at least as much in before Elden Ring came out, where, you know, I will be MIA for a while with it. But I don't know. What up, man? Yeah, still at it. So, yeah, I don't know. I do not know, man. Yeah, but I mean, I still want to learn it. Still want to learn King of Fighters. I like a lot of the characters. They seem pretty cool. The team dynamic and trying to figure that out, the combo system, seems like it has a lot of potential to be pretty interesting, from at least what I've, researched and messed with. So I'm gonna give it another chance. Give it another chance. Well, sometime after Elden Ring, we'll see. And that's pretty much all I've been playing. Getting what I've been watching. Let's see. Attack on Titan. Yes, indeed. Damn it, I don't even remember this episode. What happened? Did I watch this episode? Damn it. I'm like at a blank. What happened? It was something. You know what? The fact that I don't remember it is telling me something. So actually, that's Attack on Titan. Something important happened. I know that something crazy probably happened. Clearly. It must not be worth talking about if I do not remember. So, also watched Jeen-Yuhs. I just put that together. That's Kanye for you. So, as much as I'm not a fan of Kanye these days, man, I was a big fan back when he blew up, or was premiered, flashed on the scene. But so this documentary was basically about Kanye, in terms of him trying to make that transition from being a successful producer to a rapper. At least the first part was pretty much mainly that. Well, no, the first and second parts were mainly that. I'm not sure how many parts there are, but at least recently watched the second part, as well as obviously watching the first one before. But yeah, very fascinating and inspiring. I'd say like the Last Dance levels of like inspiration, and just seeing like somebody's drive to want to be successful, seeing what Kanye was going through in terms of that, like all the stories behind his debut album, The College Dropout. Like, you know, he had to scrounge for studio time because the label that signed him in the first episode wasn't giving him any play. Basically, they were just like kind of still leading him around. But you know, he like was literally taking that initiative. You know, he investing all this money to make his own video. They talked about the accident that he had, you know, that wired his jaw shut and all that stuff. So pretty crazy. And I guess also crazy just to see how much his team, the guy in the one of the main people in that documents him, COD, I think, just how much he was involved with Kanye, you know, before he made that huge step to, you know, getting his album and you know, getting on that track. So that is crazy. They at least previewed the next episode, which is apparently going to be pretty much, I think, or somewhat around this time frame where, you know, Kanye's kind of is, you know, unhinged Kanye. I'm guessing they're probably going to highlight all the controversial stuff he's been up to now. You know, so I'm fascinated. At least it was good to kind of look back at see another angle of, you know, 2004 Kanye, to see him, yeah, just that hunger, that drive, man. It's crazy. It's inspiring. It really is. So I do recommend it. I mean, if you are a fan of Kanye and hip hop, I guess. If you aren't, I don't know what you're doing. I don't. Also watched, what is it? Love is Blind. I actually, since last episode, saw all of season 2, up until the finale, which of course they, have, held until, I think today or tomorrow, Friday, essentially. So pretty much, you know, saw the whole similar events that happened in the first season, but, you know, with a new set of people and different dynamics. And now, it's pretty much, this finale is all the wedding vows, and if they actually go through, if they both say yes and all that stuff. So of course they freaking do that. I'm not a fan of what Netflix is doing now. Like, it's like that was the cool appeal of Netflix, being able to binge stuff, like binge a whole season in one sitting or whatever. But it's like now they're like, they're starting to revert to like television programming in a way where it's like, oh no, we're saving the finale until next week. It's like, what do they get out of that, if anything? I don't know. Like, I guess this the gauge interest of the show or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a fan though. I'm just saying, like, let me binge and get everything out my system. Netflix, don't be holding something when you know you got it ready, or if that's the case, wait and then just premiere it when it's all done. But I digress. Clearly I'm invested in a show, so but yeah, that's been a interesting ride for sure. Of course, Walking Dead. That's what I got. Walking Dead has come back for, it is so confusing, part 2 of the last season. So I'm guessing like part 2 will be like up until like April, I think, and then October will actually be the last season, I think. I want to say. So yeah, that is that. This episode is pretty good. I mean, it was for The Walking Dead, of course. I mean, I know a lot of people have dropped off since season 6, but I gotta see this through, man. I gotta see this through. I want to see what happens. I've stuck with them this long. I might as well stick it out. So that's what I'm doing. Your fellow Walking Dead apologist, essentially. Man, this episode, I mean, the most interesting part was towards the end. I guess spoilers for The Walking Dead if you even care or even watching it, but the interesting part towards the end was, well, they basically defeated the Reapers and the remnants of the Reapers, and now at least the end, they meet the Commonwealth, who was shown in earlier in the season. And they did out of nowhere, they did this random time skip like 6 months later, and then they showed Daryl as one of the I don't know what you call them, the suits, the army, I don't even know what you call them, the suited up guys from the Commonwealth, the soldiers, I guess we'll just say soldiers, the Commonwealth soldiers. So it shows him as a Commonwealth soldier, and it shows Maggie as still staying at Hilltop, I believe. I'm getting them mixed up, but I believe that's where she was at. Hilltop or Alexandria. I think Alexandria maybe. But it shows her still there, and now they're having this conflict, and then we don't know what's happening because they skipped 6 months, and now things have changed. So we don't even know anymore now. So that was interesting. I was like, oh damn, all right, we time skipping yet again, huh? All right. So curious to see what that means for the series, and like I'm assuming like Daryl and like Judith and is it Baby Rick, I think they are with the Commonwealth, as well as what is his name? King Ezekiel's Jerry. I think they showed pretty much them were with the Commonwealth, and I think there presumably has been a split of some sort, with some people going and some people staying. So, which it seems like they're gonna, of course, explain on the next episode. So, curious to see where that goes. See and find out more about this Commonwealth, since it seems not to, I don't know, explicitly stated how they are, what they stand for, and all that stuff. So I'm interested as a Walking Dead apologist. I'm interested. So I gotta see it through. I just got to. Yeah. And with that said, think that will conclude episode, what is it, 142 of Switch's Sights. If you really did enjoy this podcast, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your various podcasting and or video platforms. Greatly appreciated. What else? You can catch this podcast on Twitch TV/Switch, recorded live on Thursday evenings. You can catch the archive of this podcast as well in video form on youtube.com/Switch. Yeah, other than that, happy Elden Ring day. Hopefully you don't break stuff and throw stuff around. But until then, feel free to fuck. Get your damn game on. Oh yeah. Nobody's safe.